All right. So thank you for coming today. I'm Heidi, and we're kind of here to work on animal therapy. So what brings you here today?
I have been working on doing therapy with a therapist doing EMDR, but I feel like it's not quite enough right now. And I love animals. I used to have a horse when I was younger, so just want to see what benefit I could get from this.
Okay, awesome. So before we started, we kind of already went over all the paperwork about liability, release of information, should we need to share any information, being able to do the video recording for the purposes of my certification process. Do you have any questions about any of the stuff we've gone over?
No.
Okay. So, what I'd like to do to start out with is go over like what animal assisted therapy is, what our role is, what your role is, what Glimmer's role is. Glimmer's the horse we'll be working with today. And then that way you kind of have a baseline understanding as to what it is. We'll go over some safety, and then we will move into kind of the main cruxus of what we use for animal therapy, which is our emotional arousal scale and our window of tolerance, and use that information to try to help identify somatic experiences that are occurring within our body.
Okay.
Do you have questions about like any of that right off the bat?
No.
Okay. If at all during the course of this you need to stop or use the restroom or anything, just let me know and we can pause the recording, and you can go ahead and do that. And again, like I told you previously to starting, this is at your comfort level. I know we do not know each other at all, and so that is completely fine. So you are able to share as little or as less as you would feel comfortable doing. Okay?
All right.
So, animal or equine assisted therapy, what it is a partnership that is between the clinician, the animal, and the participant. And so basically what happens is, for the purposes of today, we're going to be working with Glimmer. Glimmer is my partner in therapy with you. So each one of us kind of hold our own space as far as you have your own role, she has her own role, and I have my own role. And my job is basically kind of just to be the facilitator between you and Glimmer and let you guys kind of do your thing. Animals are pretty amazing as far as the way that they interact with people, and Glimmer is very good at sharing with you like what she thinks, and she has shown to be very mindful when engaging with others in animal therapy, as far as like understanding the engagement process. So I always look forward to seeing how she interacts with the new person. And since this is our first time together, it will be interesting to see how you two interact together.
Yeah.
So when we do animal therapy, we never want to force interactions on the animal. So we always kind of play it off of what Glimmer wants to do or what the animal wants to do, what they're willing to do. So we may go over and try to engage, and the animal may walk away from us, or the animal may want to engage with us. And so we kind of respect those boundaries and ensure that we are doing, our part, and I'm not forcing you to do something you wouldn't want to do, just like we're not going to be forcing her to do something she doesn't want to do.
Right.
So with that said, what is your comfort level with horses for the purposes of today, since we'll be working with a horse?
Pretty comfortable.
Okay. So
it's been a while since I've been around horses, but I was around them like all the time when I was younger.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so you feel like you would feel comfortable going in the corral.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we can definitely look at moving towards that, and working on maybe doing some hands-on with her, because that's always a pretty rewarding experience for everybody. Most people love just getting hands-on, and I totally understand. So we can do that. Just be mindful. We'll be mindful when we go through the gates, and then I can't predict everything, so we just want to be mindful of watching, her. We don't want to get behind her. We want to respect that. We don't want to stand directly in front of her in case she got scared or upset, and we want to leave an escape for her. She's in a field, so there'll be a lot of escape, but we don't want to get in the way of her should she want to leave the situation.
Right.
Okay? Do you have any questions about that? It seems like you kind of feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will definitely move into that then. There is a horse next to her as well. We're not actually going to be engaging with him in therapy today, but sometimes he likes to put his nose in and see what's going on. So that can always present an interesting situation for us to kind of watch with how they interact. And so if that does happen, we will definitely kind of look at that and see how that might be corresponding with things.
Okay.
So the last thing that we'll do real briefly here is the emotional arousal scale. So I thought this made, because I thought it was helpful to see it really big.
Yeah.
And it's waterproof, so that's a plus. So the emotional arousal scale is a thermometer, okay? And so you may have a positive or a negative arousal. You may feel comfortable or uncomfortable, okay? So in a positive arousal, you're going to be increasing here, and you may be feeling like happy or excited. In a positive arousal, but you're comfortable still.
I have a question
Yes.
really fast. So I think I just want to clarify that in this case, positive doesn't mean good. It just means an increase in something added, and the negative is decrease in something. Is that what I?
Yeah,
what it is?
and it has to do with being comfortable and uncomfortable.
Okay.
So yes, so positive in you're feeling calm, positive in you're happy, excited, or it could be uncomfortable, which would be the negative. Exactly. So that would be like really upset, or you're angry about something, or you're just like completely disassociating and not engaging anymore. You just you just say, forget it, I'm giving up, I'm not worrying about it anymore. So exactly what you're talking about. So the positive arousal has to do with comfortable feelings. The negative arousal has to do with uncomfortable feelings.
Okay.
Yes, very good question. When we look at that, we play into what's called our window of tolerance, okay? Everybody has a window of tolerance. We all have a different window of tolerance, and it goes from 1 to 10. And some of us may fall around the 3 or 4 mark where we feel comfortable. Other people may be more, like I'm a high active person, so my window of tolerance is higher. And it can be based off of experiences that you've gone through in your life. So at rest, some people might be higher at normally than other people.
Yeah, my default is 3.
Your default is 3. Okay.
Yeah,
So you kind of sit down.
My therapist and I were talking about that on Wednesday.
Okay,
where
cool.
I just and I'm unable to get to well, I guess in this way it would be kind of the opposite, but yeah, I have a, I don't know, maybe I'm getting confused.
No, you're not. You're okay.
The numbers, but yeah, I have a low tolerance for stuff. Like if I go into the grocery store and there's like too many people, I have to leave, or I get like really antsy.
You get uncomfortable.
Yes, really
Okay.
uncomfortable.
Okay.
So if you're saying you have a high level of tolerance, so you can tolerate a lot of stuff. I can't tolerate a lot of stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And okay, so our window of tolerance, what this has to do with, the number is associated with how we are feeling in that moment. So if I'm feeling like a 3 or a 2, I might just be like, okay, I'm super chill, like calm, And then if I'm feeling like an 8, 9, 10, like I'm ready to just, whoa! I'm so excited or I'm so upset and like just at the end of my rope, right? Super high on the scale. So some people might feel like calm and relaxed and they're at a 3. And then other people might be like, I'm upset, but I'm disassociating at this point. And so now I'm down at like a 3 or a 4 because I'm just like shutting down and I'm,
Okay.
not participating in anything. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm a little confused, but I think I'm getting it.
Okay, we'll keep coming back to this today. So for the purposes of right now, if I was to ask you where you think you are on the scale, are you feeling uncomfortable or comfortable? Neither?
Like I guess I can't really be neither, but I'm like just slightly anxious right now.
Okay, slightly anxious. And then somatically are things that we experience in our body. So what are you experiencing in your body that's telling you you're anxious?
Tightness in my chest.
Tightness tightness in your chest. Okay. Is there anything else that you're experiencing in your body?
Kind of like a little bit of a stomach.
Okay.
Just,
And
I guess tightness everywhere.
tightness everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
And I see you shaking it out. Does that help?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember to do that.
Okay. Yeah. And if we need to go for like a little walk and just walk around, we can totally do that too. It's beautiful out, so I'm glad we decided to do it outside. So if I was to ask you where you feel on the window of tolerance, where would you say you're at right now? 1 being completely, I'm done, like I'm just whoop, or 10 being, I'm through the roof on the top of everything. And again, remember these can be positive or negative.
I feel like I'm kind of in the middle.
You're in the middle? Okay.
I was actually expecting to feel different here, and I might later.
Okay.
But
Okay. And that's fair. So hyper arousal is when we're super vigilant,
right.
and then hypo is when we get to the numbing and we're shutting down and whatnot.
I flip flop between the two a lot.
Yes. That.
I
Yeah.
have PTSD.
Okay.
This is how it is.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's a lot, and that will help me to be able to kind of see that in you. Okay. So this is kind of what we're going to keep coming back to today. So if you feel comfortable doing it, I was thinking maybe we can just do like a little bit of like a relaxing exercise to like just shake out a little bit. So maybe we can just start by shaking out our arms, and then do a little bit with our neck, because I noticed you were very tense there for a few minutes. So just move our neck, and then our shoulders, and then maybe just a little bit with our core, and then just our legs. Move our legs around a little bit. Does that feel a little bit better at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you're a little bit less tense in this moment?
Yeah.
Okay, your body at least?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, would you like to move over towards Glimmer? Okay, so I'm gonna grab the halter in case we need it, and then I'll grab the tripod. And so if you want to walk over to the gray fence, we're gonna go over to the gray fence. She's already coming over. And this is not hot. The white tape that you see, the white rope, that is hot, okay? And that's more for him because he doesn't respect boundaries. So, this is Glimmer. And when we come up and start meeting with the animal, one of the first things we like to do is we want to let them smell us. And so we'll do like what we call a nose bump. And so we'll put our hand in like this. And she may or may not come over. And then she'll smell you. And then based off of how she responds to that, will kind of dictate whether or not she wants to engage or not. How would you know if she wants to engage?
She doesn't right now.
Okay.
Because she's not continuously like trying to get my attention or getting closer.
Okay.
But she also, I mean, probably because you're here, she's coming over to you. If it was just me, I would be looking at if she was walking away or not.
Did she walk away from you?
So I think she's feeling neutral.
Yeah. Okay. What do you see within her? Do you see anything within her? How's her breathing?
She's normal.
Normal? You don't see any signs of her being upset or anything? She's sniffing you? How are you feeling?
Good.
Okay, if you don't want her to do that,
No, I do.
okay. But if you don't want to, you can just take your hand and tell her back. Okay? So if you feel uncomfortable with anything, just tell her back.
Just as long as you don't think my ear's a nap or something.
Right. So she's sniffing you. I saw you smile a little bit when she came over. Was that a good smile? Yeah? What did you feel within your body when she did that?
Happy.
Happy?
I've been kind of needing to find a horse to like at least brush or something, because one of the things I've been dealing with is trying to like remember who I am, I guess. And
You can touch her if you like.
can I pet you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you look like you really wanted to touch her.
When I was like 15, we had to move and we had to give up our farm and all of our animals, including my horse. And we lived in a pretty small like community where it was pretty. I wouldn't say like most people had farms, but it was a very
Rural?
yeah.
Okay.
And then it was a small high school. It was very like the country.
Where
know?
did you grow up?
Ridgefield.
Okay.
Do you know how that is?
Yeah.
And then we moved to Camas, and that
Which is
was
bigger.
very different. And I kind of lost myself a bit. I wasn't, I didn't have all my activities that I had been doing. I didn't have any friends there, and I just wanted to find people, that could that could be friends,
Yeah.
and I just went with whoever was going to accept me.
Okay.
And that meant I kind of had to change who I was a little bit. And then when I graduated high school, I joined the Navy, and that was even more of that, where, in the military you have to fit into a box, and I don't fit into boxes very well. And I think the last time that this feels kind of silly to say because I'm 36 now, but I feel like the last time where I remember just being myself, and middle school, there is some like, everybody's kind of going through puberty, and it's people can start getting a little bit more like, everybody has to be caring about who's popular and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but like not really that much. And I just had a lot of activities. I did 4-H. I had a horse. I was, I had friends that also had horses, and I just feel like I was also in a drama class, and I was, I had a good relationship with my science teachers, and I felt like, that was kind of the last time that I remember feeling like totally myself and not feeling too stressed that I wasn't fitting into some type of box. I was around people that were already like me, or if they weren't, if they thought that things that I liked was weird, it didn't bother me. And so kind of thinking about like the time of like the last time that I had my own horse, there's just a lot of like emotional attachment to those memories, because that was like the last time that I feel like I was just free to be myself.
Good for you.
Yeah, and not not stressed out about a lot. I mean, again, it's middle school, so it's kind of just how it is. I think everybody gets a bit more stressed in high school, but it was just the time where we had to move, and I had to leave everything. The only animals we took with us was our cats and dogs, and I had goats as well, and rabbits. We also had cows, but those were for eating, unfortunately. And I just, I spent so much time outside, and I read a lot, but I was pretty much always like reading outside, like in a tree or whatever.
By the animals.
Yeah, with my goats,
Yeah.
or hanging out with my dogs and reading. And so in thinking about like who I am, I keep coming back to that person.
Okay.
And that person, it feels very connected to, having a horse and being outside and being around animals all the time.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say you interacted was bringing back these fond memories to
Yeah.
you of a time when there was less stress, less judgment,
Yeah.
and that means something to you.
Yeah.
And you felt like maybe at that point in time you were who you were,
Yeah.
and is that something you're hoping to kind of get back to, like finding out who I am again?
Yeah.
What you're saying is you just kind of try to fit in whatever group in high school, you expect your groups as a school, and then you went in the military and you had to identify with however they told you to,
Yeah.
right? You don't get to be an individual in the military.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of like, who am I?
Yeah.
I'm an adult, and who am I?
And I've had times where I actually, like in high school, I think it was the summer between my junior and senior year, I was staying with friends and they had horses that I was just able to go and brush, and it's like every time that I have been away from animals and then I can go and be around them again, it's like, oh, that's who I am. And I've actually already been out of the Navy for like 12 years. I forgot one of my dogs I got like right after I got out, and she was a puppy when I got her, and she's 12 now. But before my last deployment, one of my chiefs invited me over to her house, and her neighbors had horses, and they let me, after I met the horses, they said, hey, anytime you want to come over, here's the brushes, you can bring apples, carrots, whatever, you can just go in there. And so I did that as often as I could right before deployment, and it was kind of this experience of like remembering that that's a really big part of who I am.
It's very, very therapeutic for you, it sounds like.
And I love dogs and I love cats, but there's just something different about horses that feels, because in my mind, like dogs and cats, they're predator animals and horses are prey animals, so I feel that it's more, they have to trust you more, because even though they're bigger than you, they still, they do get nervous, and I think a horse trusting you, dogs trust everybody, even somebody that's,
They shouldn't.
yeah, I mean, not always, but an animal that you wouldn't expect to just want to come up and interact, or they don't really.
Do you think she's trusting you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? How do you know that? What's she displaying to you?
Well, she was let me pet her.
What about when she moves in towards you?
I think she's asking for more pets. I think right now she's just like, I need a break. And I don't know if that's because I'm a new person or she's, I don't want to read into her behavior in a too like anthropomorphic way, but sometimes I wonder, is like when an animal does that, is that them saying, oh, I think you need this right now, but like maybe I'm not wanting to just be pet nonstop, so I'm gonna come over to you, and then I'm gonna take a break for a minute, and then maybe check in again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're right. I don't know exactly what she's thinking, but I do know that she has clearly showed that she's aware of your emotions. We've able to see that today so far already.
Yeah.
Which is kind of awesome. Do you want to go in?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the purposes of going in, what we will do is I can grab the grooming clip because I know you really want to groom, and we can kind of come in and then we'll kind of be safe and we'll move around what she wants to do. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to open up the latch. She'll bounce it on. And then if you're okay with it, I was going to let her just kind of be free so she can choose. So I'll go ahead and have you come around. And if you want to come in, we'll just leave it right
had something that happened after we had already moved and I came back. Because my horse, even though we lived on a farm, we didn't have shelter for my horse. And supposedly my father was going to build something and that never happened and then we ended up moving. But his name was Jacob.
Your horse?
Yeah, which I didn't name him. That I feel like that's a weird name for a horse.
For a horse?
But that was the name.
Why is it weird?
I don't know. One of my best friends, her horse was named Windy, and this is Glimmer, and I just feel like Jake. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird name for a
Okay.
horse.
That's
It's like I met a dog when I was a trainer named Kevin, and I just felt so weird to call
a
him
human
Kevin.
name.
Yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't seem fitting. But anyway, his name was Jake. And when I came back to see him, he acted like I didn't. And, a horse is gonna, and I even did, like, I touched him and I walked all the way around him, and he actually did not give any behaviors that he was even upset or happy. He was literally acting like he was pretending I wasn't there, and it just hurt and he was a rescue. He had been abused, and I was the only person that he let ride him, and he didn't let other people touch his face, but he let me touch his face. And we had a pretty close relationship that he didn't really trust other people. And I think because, I was probably a little shorter than I am now and smaller, and the person that had abused him was a man that was, kind of big. And so I think I was just very non-threatening to him.
Yeah.
But he trusted me, and then when I came back and he pretended like I wasn't there, I'm probably never gonna get over that, because I just felt like he thought I abandoned him.
Did you feel like you abandoned him?
Yeah, but it wasn't. I'm not sure that I could have done anything different.
Right.
It kind of, we were like half an hour or 45 minutes. It was it would have been a far drive. And previously, to go from my house to my friend's, where he lived, it was like 5 minutes probably. And, I wasn't driving at the time. And so it wasn't really up to me.
Okay. And that can be frustrating when things like that happen and we don't have control, especially when we're kids and we don't have the ability to make those decisions.
I don't talk to my father anymore, but I still.
Woo! You
Yeah?
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? I wish I had something for you to eat.
Remember.
Is that a yawn? Or are you about to cough? That's a good yawn. Yeah, I have a lot of, I guess, anger, or I don't know if it's angry or it's just that I don't let myself feel angry, but there's a lot of stuff about when I was a kid that I haven't forgiven my mom for.
Remember.
And what are you doing?
She wants your attention.
I don't think so.
She wants your attention. What do kids do when they want attention?
Come up and say, "Ooh."
Yeah, right? Anything to get attention? She's communicating with you. She says, hey, don't forget about me. You can start grooming her if you want while we continue to chat. And you can pick whatever you want.
What does she like the most?
So that would be like a body brush. This is a face brush, and then these are for more her mane and tail. So any of this
She's,
like stuff.
being brushed on her body a lot.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I was kind of just trying to. I was hoping that she would stay where she was standing was kind of awkward.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I totally get it. Yeah, she's right here for you, huh?
I see my mom a lot. We don't. She owns the house I live in, but we don't live together. She lives on our farm, and I think resentment is the word I was looking for.
Okay.
I just
Towards
have
your parents.
yeah, and my dad I don't talk to anymore, and there's just a lot of. It's a little bit easier for me to kind of I guess deal with my negative emotions towards him because I don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, it's really it's complicated because I see her all the time, and I'm still upset with her about stuff that happened when I was a kid, and I feel like she talks to me like sometimes like I'm a kid, but also sometimes she puts expectations on me because of my age, and I'm not married and I don't have kids, but when she was my age, I was in high school and I have 4 siblings.
You do. Okay.
So I think
Are you the oldest?
yeah.
Okay.
So I think sometimes I wonder if I don't know if wonder is the right word, but I guess like the fact that I think she just puts a lot of emphasis on my age, and she doesn't, it's not like she's pressuring me to have kids or get married, and she kind of knows that's not really, probably the cards for me.
Glimmer.
But there's just things that she'll say, like if I'm getting emotional about something, you're 36, you need to act like an adult about this or whatever. And a lot of it's things that it's just emotional stuff, and I just am gonna be who I am, and I'm still mad at her for the way that she was. I don't know. Anger is really. Maybe I'll be angry at her when I don't have to see her all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Do you feel like you can be angry at her because you see her so much? Like
Yeah.
you can't even do that?
Right. Because
Okay.
then it would just get kind of. I can't let those feelings get like to the surface. But she's been really stressing me out lately because she just. I think really also wants me to fit into a box, and I just
Like a box that she preset?
yeah, but she'll get like frustrated with me for thinking other people's opinions are like important, but then like literally in the same conversation tell me what she thinks I should do,
Okay.
and it's like
Does she ever ask you what you think?
not in a way where she's actually listening. Most of our conversations are her talking at me, and if I'm saying like I'm just expressing something. So this week has been kind of a weird week for me because Wednesday, so right now I'm a veteran and I'm on disability benefits, but I'm only at 90%, and I am kind of living off of it, but it's just because I live in a house that my mom owns right now. But so I don't have like a lot of bills, and we're getting ready to sell the house I live in,
Okay.
because my mom bought it with my stepdad who passed away a year ago, and
I'm sorry.
but I need to move
Okay.
for a lot of reasons, and I can't afford to move, and I can't really card.
Okay.
And so, anyway, I asked for an increase in my disability, and I had to do it's an exam, and this one, because I've already done it a year ago, it was like going over all my notes, and then I had to explain how things are worse for me. And then after I did that was on Wednesday. It was just a video call, but it was still just like very stressful because I'm always afraid that people aren't going to believe me, or I'm just not very good at explaining myself, or or I'm gonna forget things.
Okay. So
And
you
then,
did a lot of question, like worrying.
yeah, and then
Okay.
after that call, I found out that Jane Goodall passed away.
Who's Jane Goodall? I don't know.
Basically, I'm not really exaggerating or joking, but I feel like to me and to a lot of people in the world, Jane Goodall was like kind of a like Christ-like figure.
Okay. So it's very important to you.
Yes.
And
So
it meant a lot.
yeah, Jane Goodall, she was 91 when she passed away on Wednesday, and she was a lot of things. A primatologist. She was the first person that, man or woman, first person that went and studied chimpanzees in the wild.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
But
Okay.
she wasn't just that. Number one, because she was a woman and she was the first person. It was like a huge thing for women, for her to go do these things and then be taken seriously. But also, like, the things that she was studying have actually changed, where most people don't even really know why, because this was in the 1960s when she was first started this. But when she did her study, she hadn't gone to college yet, and the person that picked her to do the study, his name was Louis Leakey. He had decided that he thought women were better at the kind of work that he wanted to do, because he thought women were more patient, and she was just going to be basically observing chimpanzees, which, wild animals, especially back then when people hadn't been doing it, they weren't habituated to humans, and so they were hiding, and she just had to be very patient and just sit for all day long in the jungle. And she was the first person that saw a chimpanzee, and first animal in general, using tools. And she's watched a chimpanzee take a piece of grass and put it inside of a termite mound to pull up the termites to eat.
Like a spoon almost. Right.
Yeah, and then he also took a twig and pulled off little whatever else was, like little leaves or whatever, to smooth it out so it would fit in a hole better. So he was modifying the tool, and previously it was thought that only man used tools,
And that's not true.
and it isn't. And she also did the thing that a lot of people criticized her for when she did end up going to a university, which she gave all the chimpanzees names.
Oh.
And a lot of scientists are very, this is my subject and I'm going to call you 015.
Right, they don't personalize it or give them an identity.
Right. And so Jane Goodall's thing is, having empathy for all creatures, and I'm really into animal behavior and
Like studying it?
yes, but it's more than that. It's because, animals have always been there for me in a way that people haven't. And
do you feel like they're a safe place?
yeah. And Jane Goodall passing away, she was such a champion for animal rights and conservation and the environments, and even she has the Jane Goodall Institute that she created, and they came up with this program called Roots and Shoots. And Roots and Shoots is like people of all ages, like from little kids to even like adults in college, where there it's a volunteer program, and they'll do projects that's one something to do to help animals, one that's to help the environment, and one project for other people.
That's cool.
So she was just a big
Like giving back.
yeah, and just if we want to, everything is connected. If we want to take care of people, she worked in Africa, especially Gombe is where she was doing her chimpanzee studies, and she has a family house in Tanzania, and she met a lot of people that didn't have access to, any type of health care, and living in extreme poverty, because after she had been doing these studies for a while, she was, and then more people were doing them, what they were seeing more was people coming in and kidnapping baby chimpanzees to sell,
Okay.
killing chimpanzees for any reason that you would want to kill an animal, for eating because they maybe sometimes there's cultures that use different body parts in like medicine, traditional medicine or whatever, but also deforestation was huge, and so they were losing habitat. And the way that Jane Goodall thought that should be dealt with or helped was, okay, but why are people doing this? And okay, so they are clear cutting these forests because they need to sell that, because that's the only way that they can make money. How can we help them make money in a different way? So she was a big just advocate for
Like problem solving
and
helping those like in need.
and respecting everybody. And something that she always did was not wanting to create an us versus them, but how can, so there's like this gas company, and they want to drill for oil in this area, and instead of me labeling them as the bad guys, I'm going to get to know them and see how we can compromise. And
So do you think that like those are the types of traits that you aspire to have?
yeah, and I literally feel, and this is not just me, because a lot of other people after she passed were like, a lot of people really idolized her. She was an icon, and I think a lot of people, when she passed away, it was kind of like it hit differently than anybody was expecting. And the reflecting on that is like, it feels like Jesus just died. Like, I'm not joking or trying to exaggerate that. It just feels like, and Jane was very spiritual, and the reason she did what she did up until literally she was still working when she passed away. She was traveling, doing talks and trying to instill hope in people and tell them what needed to be done, or talking about what all is going on in the world that is not great, and having hope that if we just all band together and do our part, then maybe we won't have all these animals go extinct or lose all these rainforests or whatever.
Is that what you're wanting to do?
So
like something that has to do with the greater good?
So when I was in high school, if somebody was going to ask me, like, what do you do, What do you want to do?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, I would say I don't know, but I want to change the world, and I ended up joining the Navy, and I did that because I have ADHD, and certain subjects in school I was very good at, and certain subjects I was not good at, and so I just never had the type of GPA that I would have been able to get any scholarships.
Okay.
And so I chose to join the military so I could get a GI Bill. I have not used it. I mean, I have a little bit, but I really struggle with I have to do things a certain way, and if I was going to go to school and I wasn't going to be able to get A's, then what was the point?
So if you felt like if you didn't get an A that it would be like not good enough?
Yeah.
Why would you feel like that? What makes you feel that way?
I just had a lot of I think some stuff that happened in my childhood and then was reinforced in the Navy, where like I worked on airplanes. You cannot make a mistake actually if you are fixing an airplane that's going to go flying.
Yeah.
Because if, let's say, you forget to put one screw in, and that, compromises the integrity of whatever that screw is supposed to be in, whether it's a panel or whatever, and then a mishap happens while they're flying, and, that could be something as mild as they just come back and say, oh, this happened, can you fix it? Or it could be that point never coming back.
Okay. So it's very important for you to do things and do a good job.
Yeah. And even though like there's certain things, talking about spilling markers or pens on the ground, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's because I was able to have those silly little things and not have it interrupt what I was doing. It was like I was just kind of using those things as a way to kind of, okay, now I'm going to wear my comedian hat and play into that and make it a joke or whatever. And
did you notice that she was in the bathroom?
Oh, I did.
Yep. So she took a time out from us
Yes.
to attend to her needs as needed, like sometimes you might need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I knew she walked away because she needed a break, but I didn't know
Yeah.
she went to the bathroom.
What made you think she needed a break?
Well, because she just opted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I did as a dog trainer was I helped people train therapy dogs, and the main thing because we only did that once we had gone through like all the other things, the puppier beginner class, intermediate, advanced, and what we actually focus on mostly in therapy class was teaching the person to be a good liaison between your dog and whoever they're comforting. So a lot of them would take their dogs into like hospitals. And so we worked really hard on learning our dog's body language very well. And so if somebody's like, oh, can I pet your dog? This was an exercise we did every day where I would say, Kate, pretend I'm a stranger. Can I pet your dog? And then you look at your dog's body language, and does your dog actually look like they want to be pet? And then telling people how you should interact best. And like, let's say they are consenting when you pet them. Let's do that for like 3 seconds, and then take our hands off and see if they are seeking that again, or if they back away, or if they stay neutral. So I think it's really important I don't want to force an animal to interact with me.
Yeah. And that's okay. So how do you feel with Glimmer? Like, how does that make you feel with
That
her
she walked
leaving?
away?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. What do
I think
you
it's fair.
What do you feel your number is on the scale of 1 to 10?
I think it had increased. Like, I think I was more emotional in maybe a negative way, and now I feel like I'm coming back
6. Okay. And then what are you experiencing in your body?
A little bit of tightness in my chest.
Okay. Is there anything that we need to do or you need to do to help kind of relieve that a little bit? What can help to reduce that?
Maybe like shaking it out.
Okay.
A little
You
bit.
want to shake a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you want to go for a walk?
Sure.
Okay. We'll grab these and I'll pull these out because if I don't, she likes to string them along the pasture. Makes sense. And then I get to pick them up. And then they're everywhere. Thank you. Caterpillar. I missed it. I've been saving them all. They're everywhere. Perfect. Okay. So, thank you, Glimmer. So when we're done with a session with an animal, we always like to thank them.
Thank you, Glimmer.
Thank you, Glimmer.
Do you think she'll let me say goodbye to her later?
Oh yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back. Oh, see, your friends are back.
Oh.
Your kitty friends. So I'm just gonna grab this. So he wants to participate with you, huh?
Yeah, I think I need to take this off.
You getting hot?
Or take my sweatshirt off and put this back on.
How many coats do you have on?
Just this one and then my sweatshirt.
Got it. So it's toasty.
Well, I thought it was going to be cold today.
Yeah. The weather's been kind of weird lately. Super weird lately. Hi, Shrek.
This one I like to wear a lot because it has a lot of pockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's
She
why
can
I
put stuff in them.
decided to, let's take this sweater off. In the summertime, I'm kind of weird. I just have a gardening vest that, like, when I take my dogs on walks and stuff,
Mhm.
because I don't really. It's just an easier way to carry things.
Yeah,
and
I don't think that's weird.
pockets and everything.
I don't think that's weird at all. I think it's very economical and practical. So then you don't have to have giant bags you're packing around. You can put it in your pockets on your vest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. That's not weird at all. So when you kind of went through your experiences with Glimmer, I noticed there's a couple times that you kind of became like more connected,
Yeah.
and then you shut down instantly.
Yeah.
Is that something that's kind of a go-to for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you start to become emotional, what do you experience in your body?
It kind of depends what kind of emotion, but I think that.
Like the purpose of the horse, when you were talking about your horse.
Oh.
Yeah. Specifically, because that's kind of what happened today, right?
Yeah, just kind of this, I guess, heavy feeling. There's kind of always, I feel like a tightness in my chest that
Mhm.
doesn't seem to go away, but it gets worse or, lessens. And I feel like that's a big thing that happened, and kind of a feeling in the pit of my stomach of like sadness and I can't think of a better word because this doesn't make sense, but it's the only one I can think of is dread. But like
Yeah.
dread more feels like it's for a future thing, but it's like thinking about the past. I guess
think-
it's like regret,
Yeah.
guilt.
Okay. I don't think there's any like wrong word, because I think it's really about how you are interpreting it based off
Yeah.
of like your experience.
I don't know if this is something that you saw, but I felt like the times where I was kind of maybe being more absent-minded, or I wasn't petting her or brushing her anymore, it was when I was trying to describe what I was feeling and
Yeah.
having a hard time with that.
Is that something that is challenging for you?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's very frustrating because the subjects I wasn't good at was math. So I'm not great with numbers, but I used to be very good at expressing myself verbally and in writing, and I always very easily did well in English classes, and I somehow have gotten much worse, and I don't even think I was that bad when I was a dog trainer, because that was even after getting out of the Navy. So it's just in the past, since I've been out for 12 years, I keep trying to look back on, is this a gradual thing where I'm just constantly declining?
Okay.
Or was I struggling at this point and I wasn't really noticing it as much? Or sometimes I even talk to people I was in the Navy with, where I'm trying to think of things that happen, and I want to ask them, hey, do you remember this? And do you recall if I basically started seeming more dumb,
Okay.
because I do feel that I am struggling more with words, and reading things and writing is harder for me.
Comprehension or concentrating in general? Okay.
Both.
So that can all be part of the anxiety and the PTSD and the depression.
I think because I wasn't aware that I had PTSD until a couple years ago. I know I've struggled with anxiety and depression, and I've had panic attacks and stuff like that, but I actually only was diagnosed with PTSD a couple years ago, and it's now become obvious kind of what events led up to this, and I wonder if because I was just trying so hard to just push all those things down, and I was trying really hard to function and be successful and do all the things, and neglecting that I wonder if I've made it worse.
Okay.
I don't know.
And maybe those are things we can explore.
Okay.
Did you, when you interacted with Glimmer, did you feel pressure to interact with her?
No.
Okay. Did you feel that you were trying to force her to interact with you?
No.
Okay. How did that interaction feel for you?
So normally when I do therapy, I get really anxious because I don't like talking about things, and I don't really make eye contact with my therapist that much, and what I do is I usually have one of my dog's stuffed animals, or I scribble, and I will maybe take a piece of paper and tear it up into a million pieces. And with having her there, and when I used to be able to bring my dog with me, having something to focus on, that's one, I feel like it's grounding in a way.
Yeah. That tactile.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it feels like I need an activity to do to help me just feel safer, I guess.
Okay. And that's
I don't know if
totally
that makes
fine.
sense.
So maybe next time we will, I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but if it's rainy, we can work inside, and we can even look at doing more interactive activities like haltering.
Okay.
And doing some leading exercises and whatnot, so that you guys can be interactive. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, is doing an activity, being moving and doing an activity. There's nothing wrong with that. And from what I'm hearing you say, that is a safe place for you that helps you to be able to engage. So maybe you're not feeling like all the spotlight's on you in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go out in the pasture and say thank you to Glimmer?
Yes.
Okay, we can do that. We'll go ahead and go out there then. So I'll have you go ahead and step in. Yep, absolutely. And she's gonna come right over to you. Glimmer.
She's like, what's going on?
Hello, thank you so much for participating today. It was very much appreciated. We appreciated you.
Do you see yourself in there? Hi, thank you.
Do you feel that this would be something you'd want to do again?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. We can totally do that then. We will get something scheduled so that we can continue to work on this then.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.